All right, let's try this again. Yeah, it's definitely been a while since I've done a video. This was a must, and I have a few other videos I know I should probably do. I want to do, but just trying to find the time as of late is crazy. But this one was a must, hands down. East Coast Comic Con back. It was already last month. I wanted to do one sooner, but I just, yeah, busy, real busy. So East Coast Comic Con, May 17th and 19th. My wife and I, we'd gone to New York. We arrived in New York on a Tuesday, so a few days before the con that started on a Friday. Spent a few days in New York, checking out New York, which was awesome. First time for myself going out there. My wife, it's her second time, but it's been many years since she's been out there. So New York was impressive. I was digging it. There were some crazy moments. You know, you're in the city. Excuse me. You're in the city, but man, looking forward to going back again next year. Looking forward to this con. This con was phenomenal. Not just because the artists that were there and the size of the con, and you know, the fact it wasn't crowded. You know, it's a good sized con. There was actually quite a few folks there, but you weren't. But it was comfortable. It was a comfortable con, and for the most part, it was very comfortable. And to meet a bunch of excellent YouTubers was phenomenal. That's the icing on the cake. That's wow. I mean, it just makes the Comic-Con that much more memorable. Meeting a bunch of great YouTubers on top of the artists that were there. So I'm gonna go through the list of the folks I met real quick. It's out of order. I mean, I try to put it in the sequence that I met these folks and was hanging out with them, but I'm kind of all over the place with this, just trying to remember. But again, I know, okay, I'd gone to the con. It was Friday and Saturday with my wife, and the whole goal was to try to get George Perez. George Perez was the main guy besides Joe Sinnott, because George Perez was saying, hey, you know, this is the last time I'm going to be doing any Comic-Cons. That's it. You know, and George Perez signs for free, so that definitely helps. I had a couple books I'd want to get submitted for him. I brought 5 slabs that needed to be cracked. That took time. CGC wasn't there, but Desert Wind was there. And Desert Wind, I'm familiar with them. I dealt with them many years ago. I dealt with them way back when I was getting a lot of Stan Lee stuff, Stan Lee autographs, because Desert Wind was the facilitator for that. And since CGC wasn't there, I really didn't have a problem using Desert Wind, because I wanted to get some books graded. So one of the folks I was happy to meet again for the second time was Amazing Murph Nader. It was a blast hanging out with him, seeing him again. It was like, wow. Because it's been a couple of years already, which time goes by. Time waits for no one, and time goes fast. So it was awesome meeting Amazing Murph Nader again, and then meeting his son for the second time as well, the Jedi. Cool kid, very cool kid. Murph's phenomenal. His family's awesome. And then he brought his buddy Sean for the first time meeting his buddy Sean. Sean was, again, another cool cat, really nice guy. He was there getting stuff autographed, and we were all having a good time. You know, we were all just talking and about books and everything and life and whatnot. Cholula's Comics also came out, and I've met Cholula before. He doesn't live too far from me, but Cholula goes out there. He shows up, I think he showed up on Thursday or Friday. And then he actually came to the con on Saturday and went for Sunday. And it was all about Perez. Whatever it takes, man. Get George Perez, whatever it takes. Hashtag whatever it takes. Yeah, we took that from the Avengers. That was between me, Cholula, and Amazing Murph Nader. Excuse me. So Cholula was out there, and it was fantastic because Cholula got to meet a lot of these guys for the first time. They got to meet Cholula for the first time. So just oh man, this is what makes the convention better than any regular conventions. When you get to meet people you admire, or people you like their videos on YouTube, you like them on YouTube, and you dig them, and then you get to meet them in person, and you realize they're better than their videos. You know, their videos are awesome, but to meet them in person, it's like, wow. You know, I mean, they're just such cool cats. And again, I know it's like you just, you know, you're meeting them for maybe about a day, or you meet them for a moment, but just that moment in that day, it says a lot about a person and those people in general. I think, you know, when you get a chance to converse with them. So, yeah, Cholula was out there with his cousin. Cool guy to meet was his cousin, and we had a good time talking. And then, so Saturday, you know, Friday, I'm trying to get my slabs cracked open and all that, get books prepped, and I'm hanging out at Desert Wind. That was like my home away from home. Because I go to the George Perez line on Friday, and it's just massive crazy. We get a ticket stub, and I'm going, okay, I can come back with my ticket and get George Perez. So I bail. I think Murph hung out there for a while because my wife's looking at me like, are we going to stand around here for a couple hours? Or I know you got other autographs. You want to go get those other autographs and we'll come back for Perez. I figured, yeah, why not? Because I had more books for Joe Sinnott than I did for Perez. So I'm like, let me go see if I can knock out some Sinnott stuff and then, I'll come back for Perez. Because even Joe Sinnott's an older gentleman, much older actually. I think he just turned 92 or 93, I believe. And for me, it was my second time meeting Joe Sinnott. And I always used to call him Sinnott, but I know it's pronounced Sinnott now, right? Thank you. So Joe Sinnott himself was there, and I was trying to get stuff signed by him. And his lines weren't, he had decent lines, and they also capped his lines because, he's an older gentleman. There's only so many books he could sign before the guy's got to take a break, or he's got to get he's got to take a rest or go get a meal or whatnot. So, I'm over there just trying to get my books, turned in, submitted, fill out paperwork, everything ready, so I can get the ball rolling on it. And I spent a lot of time doing that, and that's fine. I anticipated doing that. I probably just didn't necessarily anticipate that amount of time, but it's all about being patient. In my opinion, for me, it's all about being patient and just being there in the moment. And don't get super cranky super quick. And that's part of the game. That's part of the signature game. Sometimes you get through the signatures quick. Sometimes you wait. I just go with the mindset I'm going to wait, and if I get through quicker, hey, that's awesome. So I left off with Chulu and his cousin, and Friday I was busy doing quite a bit. I go back Friday, and I think I didn't get a chance to get Perez. They capped the line. They said my ticket was no good. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'll try him again tomorrow, because I was working on getting other autographs and things handled. Murph was fortunate enough to come back, and they honored Murph's tickets because Perez's lines were so screwed up. They say a lot of it, I think, maybe had to do with VIPs just going back and forth and through the line. VIPs going back through multiple times when they shouldn't have. That caused it. On top of, he didn't have a limit on how many autographs folks could sign on the items. So, like, people rolling up with, look at people rolling up with the short boxes. Whether or not they're getting the whole short box signed by Perez, who knows. There was a guy wheeling a cart, and he had probably like 10 Infinity Gauntlets. It's like, Jesus Christ, on top of books. So Perez was just signing everything, right? And then throughout the day, you'd hear, okay, well, now it's, I think it was, originally it may have been 10 items per person or something, and then it got cut to like, I don't know if it went down to 8 or 7, then it got to 5, and then I think from 5 it went to 4, and I think it held at 4. But, yeah, it just wasn't handled very well, the whole outcome of it all. But with Friday, Murph waited, and Murph, I guess they cut the line off with him, and, because he was only signing, I think, twice on Friday, and then Perez had to take off to go do a panel. And when Perez went to go leave to do the panel, he noticed there was people in line, people that weren't happy, and they still had those ticket stubs. And so, Perez being the stud he is, Perez is like, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do my panel, but after my panel, I'll come back and I'm going to handle these people, give these people new tickets. And if I stayed there, I would have been one of those people, but I didn't stay there. So Murph stayed there. Murph was smart. He got a new ticket, and, Perez says, I'm going to honor these people because these people should have been signed. That's the whole idea of these ticket stubs or whatnot. I don't know how this speech went, but I'm assuming that's how it went. So Perez does that, comes back. The con, Perez comes out and he does another signing, but it's just strictly for these people. Of course, other folks are trying to jump in line. They're not going to let those folks do it, right? Because they don't have the stub. Perez just wants to honor, and he wasn't supposed to sign a third time. So here he is, he's autographing, but I'm hanging out. I'm watching Murph get his stuff signed, and his buddy Sean get stuff signed. I'm taking pictures and videos or whatever. And as Murph, before this happened, I approached the handler, and she's a nice, good-looking lady, whatever. For Perez, and I say, hey, I had a ticket too, and she goes, oh, I'm sorry, I can't honor that because you weren't here earlier. And I said, okay, hey, that's cool, I'm not going to argue with it. And I'm like, and then I was told, oh, there was prints. He had prints, comic book printouts, like little mini posters. So the chick breaks a few of them out for me because I'm like, oh, you still selling the prints? And she's like, yeah, I could probably do it. So she breaks some stuff out for me. And so I was pretty stoked I got to buy some because she's getting ready to pack a lot of it up or had most of it put away. So at least I got a couple of George Perez prints. And then Murph had approached me. Murph's like, hey, you got a book or two, man? I could do it for you. I get one autographed tomorrow. Are you sure, bro? Because I don't want to take away from his pile. I don't want to take away from his stack. So I tossed him a book. And Murph hooked it up. And I was stoked. I'm like, well, cool. Then I got at least one book signed by Perez. So that was Friday. Then come Saturday. Again, Saturday I'm over at Desert Wind. I'm hanging out there. It's my home away from home. And I'm getting stuff done. And you know what? I'm going to come back with a part 2 because I'm just talking. This is all... I guess I'll find out if I've got some folks that really enjoy my video, because it's just my voice in the background for this first half. All right, I'll be back for part 2.